this practice, we're going to start lying on our backs in constructive rest pose. You will probably need at some point in the practice, well, you will need towards the end, a block or something that you can use to replicate a block. So maybe a book or something like that. Take yourself down to the mat. Come to lying on the back. Soles of the feet to the floor. Let the spine find its natural curves. Feet flat to the ground. Maybe the knees roll in towards one another. The hands can be out by the sides. Shoulders away from the ears. Slightly tucked under. The hands away from the midline. And perhaps the palms are open to the sky. So you're in a position of surrendering. Position to receive the practice this evening. Just take yourself a few moments to settle, to release any fidgets, any last minute maneuvers. And take a deep breath in through the nose, sigh it out of the mouth. 2 more times. Feeling as though with each exhale, the body becoming heavier, surrendering to gravity. Allow the breath to slow down. And just start to take your awareness to the points of the contact between your body and the ground. Starting from the back of the head, down the backs of the shoulders, down to the back of the pelvis, and down to the soles of the feet. Resting your awareness at the soles of the feet. And just start to focus once more on the breath. That slow, steady, full breath in. And just letting the breath disappear almost as you exhale. And as you focus your attention on the breath, start to become aware of that journey that the breath takes. As you follow the length of each inhale from the starting point all the way to the end of each exhale, to the end point, that final release. And start to imagine now a visualization, taking your awareness to the very crown of the head, and feel as though you're breathing in through the crown of the head. The breath travels down the length of the body, and as you exhale, feel as though you're breathing out through the soles of the feet. So the breath comes in through the crown of the head, travels down the length of the body, and breathe out through the soles of the feet. Feeling as though you're giving that breath back to the earth through the grounding position of the feet. Each breath traveling the entire length of the body. This breath might invoke a sense of grounding. As you're rooting the breath back down to the ground, the feet firmly placed on the earth. Each breath travelling from the very top of the head down through the body, slowly to the feet and out through the soles of the feet. And the next time you breathe out, let your awareness rest at the soles of the feet. So you can release that focus of the travelling breath. Breath returns to whatever natural is for you. And your awareness is firmly planted at the soles of your feet. You're becoming aware of every single bit of your footprint. Aware of the heel of the foot, the main arch between the heel and the ball of the foot. The base of the toes, and the very tip of the toes. We'll be working this evening through a grounding practice. So I invite you to keep the mind focused, if you can, on your foot placement, on where your mind's going. And at any point throughout the practice, you can come back to that breath of in through the crown of the head and out through the soles of the feet. Resting your awareness once more in the feet. Start to lift the toes, feeling as though you're lifting each toe one at a time. And it doesn't matter whether you can actually do that or not. The focus isn't on being able to achieve that single toe lift, but rather our intention is simply on placing our awareness into the toes, into the musculature of the toes. Really being aware of everything that goes on in this part of our body. Perhaps you can lift all of the toes and sort of strum them back down one by one. So the little toe goes first and the big toe lands last. Perhaps taking the reverse, big toe first to the little toe. I can't do it that way. It takes a lot of concentration, and you wouldn't think something so small, something so minor, would take so much concentration. And as you're doing this, start to take your focus around the body as well, noticing what happens throughout the legs, the thighs, the glutes, the pelvis, the back. Does anything else move? Is anything else affected just by that teeny tiny movement of just the toes? This time start to release that toe movement and start to come up off the heels to the balls of the feet and to the tiptoes, slowly lowering back down, just like we would through a bridge pose with our entire body coming up, rippling through the spine. You're doing the same through just the soles of the feet. Perhaps you can incorporate the in and out of the breath, the rise and fall of the heels. And release, seeing if you can do it the reverse, toes lift, balls of the foot, bridge to the very bottom of the heel, rippling back down and perhaps even strumming the toes back down. Perhaps even incorporating some semicircles when you come to the very tip of the heel. And release. Planting the feet back to the earth. Becoming aware of the footprint once more. And just noticing how the feet feel. We're so often trapped, as it were, by our shoes and socks. And actually, our feet are designed to make these movements for us to protect the rest of our body. In our modern world, we're not using the feet to the full advantage. So you might notice they're starting to ache already, and that's okay. Simply be aware of whatever it is that you feel. In your own time, hug the knees into the chest and make any gentle rocking and rolling movements. Take the hands to the thighs and begin to rock up and down the length of the spine if that's okay for you. Bringing the soles of the feet to the floor and then rocking back. Perhaps even coming up to a sort of squatting position. Maybe even coming to stand and lowering back down. And again, thinking about that placement of the feet, what's going on in each toe with the arch of the feet as you start to stand and lower. Take 2 more. And then come to a seated position. Come into Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet to touch one another. So I sit back a bit, can you see? Yeah, that's better, isn't it? And don't worry about how open the knees are here. If you need to support yourself with a block or some cushions underneath the knees, you can do. Taking the elbows to rest at the thighs, the thumbs, bring them towards the arch of the feet and just start to rub gently into that area. Gradually beginning to build the pressure. Maybe, I hope you've not got any foot issues. I know a lot of people are a bit ugh when it comes to feet. Feet really don't bother me though. And providing that's okay for you, perhaps you can take the fingers in between the toes, giving them that extra bit of spread. Take an inhale. If that's not okay for you, then just let the hands come to the ankles and consider the footprints against one another. So whichever variation you're taking, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, keeping a straight spine, think about reaching the collarbones towards the tips of the toes. Now, unless you're super, super bendy, you're not going to get there. All I want you to think about in that is simply keeping that length through the spine. So keep reaching the collarbones towards the tips of the toes. Bringing the awareness once more to the feet. Whether you've got the fingers clasped between the toes, whether you've got the soles together. What is it that's going on at your foot area? Take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly release the feet, release your clasp. And lift the torso. Draw the knees in towards one another. And come over onto Virasana, hero's pose. So if it's okay with you, take the feet flat. If that's too much for you, take a cushion underneath. Open the legs a little and sit on a cushion so the butt is slightly higher, so you've not got that pressure on the fronts of the feet around the ankle area. Let the palms rest on the thighs, shoulders away from the ears, and closing down the eyes for a moment. Taking in a deep breath and release. Just noticing where you are, what's going on with the breath. Focusing on the feet, on the breath. The feet physically firming you into the present moment. The breath keeping the mind in the present moment. Staying as you are, or if it's okay with you, coming up onto the balls of the feet, lifting and spreading the toes out, and then come to sit back on the heels. So you're in like a toe squat almost, and you should feel a deep stretch down the soles of the feet. If this is too much for you, lift the weight off a little, or as much as you need to. We're going to stay here for about 30 seconds. So draw the eyes down, perhaps even closing the eyes. Focus on that breath in through the crown of the head and out through the soles of the feet. Inhale, exhale, slowly come off. Take the weight out of the toes, flatten onto the fronts of the feet, and just move the feet, the toes, the ankles, any way that feels right for you. And start to come into any variation of your cat-cow. Recently, I'm a particular fan of drawing sort of circular shapes, but maybe your cat-cow is linear. Whatever feels right for you. Just beginning to bring some movement into the torso. And again, being aware of the feet, what's going on at the foot area. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, curl the toes and push back to your down dog. Pedaling out the knees, slowly one at a time, moving with your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe swaying the hips, deeply lowering one heel and the other. Maybe coming onto the balls of both feet and then slowly lowering down towards the heels. If you do get the heels to the ground, and no worries if you don't, that's okay. Doesn't mean your down dog is any better. Perhaps you can lift the toes. Take an inhale, gaze forward, Exhale, walk the feet to the top of the mat. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring the belly to the thighs, bend the knees. Take your peace fingers around the big toes. Feel as though you're pulling the fingers up towards the torso, but simultaneously pushing the big toe down. You might develop a bend in the elbows. Tailbone is reaching up to the sky. Keep pushing the ball of the big toe, into the ground. Doesn't matter whether the legs are straight here or not. Our focus is in what's going on at the big toe. Focusing on that breath mentally. Taking that journey of the breath. Take an inhale. Exhale, release. As you inhale, slowly ripple up and really push the feet down to the ground. Circling the shoulders up and away from the ears, hands to heart center. Feet can be in your comfortable Tadasana position. So whether that's hip distance, feet together, whatever's natural, your natural standing position. Closing down the eyes. Feet firmly rooted into the ground. Lift and spread the toes. And you might notice as you have spread them and pushed them down into the earth, the arch has created almost like a suction cup. That suction cup is super useful when we're doing any standing balances. Keeping the eyes closed if you can. Start to lift the heels off the ground. They might only come ever so slightly off. They might come all the way up onto the very balls, the tips of the toes. So although our focus is on the feet, you might notice that with the eyes closed, this is really challenging. But try to focus on what the feet are doing, the support that they're giving you. And if you fall out, be okay with that. Nothing in our practice is perfect. And why does it need to be? Why does the practice need to look a particular way? I invite you instead to think about how it feels. Releasing now. Taking Surya Namaskar A. Take an inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, belly to thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Inhaling to plank. Exhale, release the knees. Elbows into ribs, lower the belly down. Push the fronts of the feet into the mat. Inhale, collarbones reaching up and forwards. Exhale, push back, down dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step to the top. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Root down to rise up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. I'm just going to face on for a moment so you can see. Take an inhale And as you exhale, take your seat back, Utkatasana chair pose. Again, your feet can be hip distance, big toes touching. So just have a moment to adjust and play where is right for you in your chair pose. Once you've settled in, focus your awareness back down to the feet. Lift every toe off the mat and lower. Lift the heels and lower. Lift the toes, spread the toes, lower the toes. Lift the heels. Release the heels, lift the toes, spread and lower. Lift the heels, push into the toes to straighten through the legs. No need to come perfectly straight, just standing up. And as you exhale, keeping your awareness into the ball of the left foot, step the right foot back. The intention is to do that slowly, but it's so much harder than it sounds. You can lower the heel of the left foot now, coming into your crescent lunge. Ball of the back foot, really take it right back. Feeling that stretch once more down the back, not the back, the sole of the back foot. Soften at the shoulders. Lift and spread the toes on that front foot. Inhale. Exhale, open to the right, Virabhadrasana 2. Right heel is grounded. Keep pushing into the little toe side of the back foot. And feel as though you're drawing, so the feet aren't moving, but energetically feel as though you're drawing the feet in to the midline. Notice the difference, the strength in that posture now. Inhale. Exhale, straighten through the front leg. Keeping that awareness, that drawing into the midline of the feet, as though you're trying to pull everything in. Coming into your Trikonasana, reaching forwards and lowering, tilting at the hips. Don't worry about how far down you come here. Instead, keep the awareness into the feet. Keep pushing the little toe side of the back foot into the mat. Inhaling. Exhale, lift up, spinning on the feet to face what was your right side. Adjust your feet as necessary, coming into your goddess pose. So heels ever so slightly in. Inhale, exhale, lower. Push into the feet, inhale to rise. Exhale, lower. Pushing down to rise, inhale. Exhale, holding here. Awareness into the feet. Notice that the more you try to make your mark of your footprint, the stronger the posture is. Inhale. Exhale, open out, Virabhadrasana 2. Really strong feet again. Inhale. Exhale, come back to your lunge. Coming onto the ball, if you can, of both feet. Inhale. Exhale, lower the front foot. Step the back foot in slightly and straighten through both legs. Your hands can come behind your back in a prayer position, or simply holding opposite elbows or wrists. Take an inhale, find length through the crown of the head, root down through the feet, and as you exhale, fold forwards. Again, don't worry about how far down you're coming. Instead, think about the collarbone reaching towards those toes on the front foot. This time, feel as though you're drawing the feet away from the midline, really pulling them away. So you're energetically moving the feet away from one another. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lifting up. Release the hands, step to the top of the mat. Utkatasana, second round. Sink back. Lifting up onto the balls of the feet and lowering the heels. Lift and spread the toes, lower. Up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, lower. If you want an extra challenge, can you do this with a really low gaze or even the eyes closed? So it's almost like you're rocking back and forward. The next time you have the heels up, come to stand tall. Inhale. Exhale, ball of the right foot and step the left foot back to your crescent lunge. You can lower the front heel, wiggle that back foot away. Soften the upper body and really root down. Inhale. Exhale, open left, Virabhadrasana 2. Pushing into the little toe side of the back foot. Feel as though you're pulling away from the midline. What's going on in the thighs when you do that? Inhale. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower from the hips, Trikonasana. Again, keep that intention going in the feet. As though you're trying to pull away from the center point with the feet. Don't worry how far down you come. Much better to be here with active legs than all the way down here and nothing's really happening in the body. Inhale. Exhale, release. Adjust the feet, come to face what was your left. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower your seat, goddess pose. Can you come this time slightly lower? Push into the feet and keep going all the way to the balls of the feet. Exhale, lower. Can you keep on the balls of the feet? No worries if not. Just experiment, play with it. And next time you lower down, hold your goddess pose. If you can, holding on the balls of the feet. I'd say extra challenge to close down the eyes, but I'm not even going to be able to do that myself. I'm feeling super wobbly. Inhale. Exhale, release Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale. Exhale, coming into that lunge position. Ball of both feet. Exhale, release the front heel. Stepping slightly in with that back foot, straightening through both legs. Taking the hand position of your choice. Inhale, find length. And exhale, fold, reaching the collarbones right forward. Keep pushing that front foot into the mat so that the front leg is active. So rather than locking it out like this or deep bend, it's active. So there's almost like a micro bend in the knee. Notice the difference that makes. Inhale. Exhale, release. Step into the top of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Plant the hands. Inhale to plank. Exhale, release the knees. Elbows in, lower down. Inhale. Exhale, push back to your child's pose, Balasana. And again, bringing your awareness to the feet. In your child's pose, they're much more open. Just focusing the mind on the breath. On that journey of the breath in through the crown of the head, out the soles of the feet. Firmly rooted in the present moment. Taking this time for you, for this moment. And all the other physical and mind stuff doesn't matter right now. Let it be as you focus and ground yourself in the present moment. When you're ready, make your way back to your down dog. Take an inhale to gaze forwards. And exhale, step to the top of the mat. Coming into your ragdoll pose, hands to opposite elbows. Bend the knees and let the belly come to rest on the thighs. Start to sway gently forwards and backwards. Maybe side to side. Visualizing what your footprint would look like with each movement. On your next exhale, heel toe the feet a little wider towards the width of the mat and come down to your Malasana. Bringing the hands together at heart center. I'll just turn around so you can see. Hands are at heart center. Pushing the elbows to the thighs into the elbows. So you've got those contrasting forces pushing one another. If the feet don't reach the mat, take a cushion or you can roll up your mat to give you that extra height. If that's still too much, take your cushion or your block and you can sit on it, taking that pressure away completely. Take 2 more breaths here. Awareness into the feet and push down as you rise up. Taking the weight to the left foot, step the right foot to the back of the mat for your crescent lunge. Inhale. Exhale, plant the hands to the mat and come into standing splits. Think about what's going on with your foot. So are you pointing the feet, or have you got the toes pointing to the ground so the feet are flexed? If you can, try to keep that right hip facing the ground. Doesn't matter how high up that back foot comes. Staying here, or maybe you start to come up onto the fingertips. Maybe you take the hands back, palms facing to the ground. Variation of Warrior 3. Think about what I said earlier in the class about that suction cup almost of the standing foot. If you want to experiment with your Warrior 3, but you've not got the stability and the balance, perhaps you can come to a wall and take, one too far away, and take the sole of the foot to the wall. And notice how it feels. You've got that sensation pushing into the back, but you've got the support. Notice the strength it takes throughout the entire left leg. Notice what goes on through the supporting leg and foot. Each toe making those micro movements, giving you that full support and stability. Take an inhale. Exhale. Sweep that right foot back down. Returning to your Malasana, so adjust the feet and take your seat. So we'll take that on the opposite side now. So just take a moment to return to the breath. When we're practicing asana, the physical yoga, we're often so focused on the postures and what's going on. So it can be helpful to remind ourselves why we're actually here, why are we doing this. Yoga isn't just about making those pretty shapes. It's about remaining in the moment and learning to be with ourselves, with our minds, and be comfortable with the quiet. The next time you inhale, push the feet into the mat and start to lift your way up. Adjusting the feet slightly. Taking the weight into the right foot, your left foot will come back this time for your crescent lunge. I lost my balance then. My floor isn't even there. I've got a bit of carpet and a bit of strip of carpet there, and then everything else is like a sort of fixed floor. And on that bend, I can always seem to have to do my balances on that bit. So from here, we're coming into our standing splits. When you're ready, start to come off that back foot and fly forwards. thinking about what's going on with that left foot. How does it affect the posture? What do you feel more in? With a pointed toe or a flexed toe? When you're ready, put the toes to the floor if you haven't already. Left hip facing the ground, coming up to the fingertips, and start to take that flying position. Palms facing the floor. Again, if you need to come to a wall, you can do. One too close this time. So just take a moment to play. The main thing is that you keep your awareness in the feet and that the hips are parallel. So you've not got one hip, let me show you, opening out slightly like this, but we're facing down, and it can really help to point the toes to the air. Take an inhale. Exhale, release the hands to the mat, either flow through a vinyasa or come straight to your balasana. And we'll meet in child's pose. Start to slow the breath down now. And in your own time, come up to a seated position. Now you will need that block or something that can stand up of its own support like that. So whether that's a chunky book, a water bottle would actually do as well, to be honest. So taking the right leg out long, take your prop and rest the sole of the foot to your prop. So you're not pushing it and knocking it, you're just maintaining that contact. Left foot comes to the floor. Take an inhale to find length through the crown, and as you exhale, twist to your left. Keep that contact, the sole of the right foot and your prop. Pushing down into the left foot. Notice any effect that has on the posture. Inhale. Exhale, slowly release. Lower the left foot down to the mat, to the ground, and sole of the foot inside the right thigh. If you need to give your knee some support, then be my guest. Again, you're maintaining that contact. My foot, I don't know about yours, but my foot is sort of wavering. So keep that contact. And if you can, try not to move the block. Lengthen tall. Twist slightly to your right, and as you exhale, bring the belly to the right thigh. Thinking about bringing the collarbones towards those toes. The neck is in line with the spine. Take an inhale, slowly lift up and release. You can knock that block over now if you want to. You might notice that you've really felt that up the leg, perhaps. Just take a moment before we switch sides to just acknowledge how that was for you. We'll take the same on the opposite side when you're ready. Take your time, there's no need to rush. Join me whenever you're ready. So left foot in contact with your support. Right foot rooting down. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to twist to your right. And again, push the right foot this time into the mat. Perhaps you notice some effect on the posture. Inhale, exhale, release out of the twist. Bringing the sole of the right foot to the inner thigh. Take an inhale, find length. Exhale, twist slightly over the left and fold over that left leg. Belly to thighs, collarbones, reaching for the toes, neck and spine aligned. And inhale, slowly lift up. Move the block out of the way. I took great pleasure then in pushing that block out of the way. Planting both soles of the feet to the floor. You might need to shimmy forward as I am elegantly doing. Bringing the hands to the heart center. If you need the support of the hands to lower back, be my guest. Otherwise, try to maintain the hands at heart and maintain that foot-earth connection as you slowly lower onto your back. Nice. We'll take a bridge pose here. You will need your block in a moment. So just take the feet to about hip distance-ish. Lift and spread your toes. Push the feet, really push into the floor, and you'll notice that that alone is what lifts your pelvis up. Perhaps the palms of the hands push down equally as the feet, or perhaps you clasp the hands underneath your seat. Keep pushing down. As you're pushing down, notice what's going on with the knees, with the back, with the thighs, with the psoas at the front body here, connecting the lower limbs to the upper body. Exhale, release the hands. Slowly release the torso down. Take your block, your book, whatever it is that you have handy, and hold it in between your knees. We're going to take the same round again, but you need to keep hold of that block if you can. So when you're ready, push the feet into the mat, the pelvis lifts, keep squeezing the block into the midline and keep pushing the feet down. You might notice that you don't come quite as high, and that's okay. There's no particular goal here for how high we get. Instead, we're being inquisitive with how it feels. Exhale, slowly, slowly release. Just remove the block, allow the spine to be neutral for a moment. And then in your own time, make your way into a happy baby. Drawing the hands inside of the legs, the hands towards the soles of the feet, and push your tailbone right down. Try to keep that contact between the lower back, the sacrum, the tailbone. Keep rooting that contact down to the earth. Ordinarily in your happy baby, you might be here. But we want to keep this evening grounded. Take any movements here that feel good. Enjoy this final posture. And then in your own time, make your way into your Shavasana for your final relaxation. Releasing your control of breath. Releasing your control of the mind. Your focus and awareness of the feet. Simply allowing the body to just be. Surrendering to the earth, to the posture, and to whatever your Shavasana holds for you. When your world moves too fast and you lose yourself in the chaos, introduce yourself to each colour of the sunset. Reacquaint yourself with the earth beneath your feet. Thank the air that surrounds you with every breath you take. Find yourself in the appreciation of life. Gradually begin to draw your awareness back to your senses, back to your breath. Back to that connection between your body and the earth. Beginning to move into your body again. Hooking the knees into the chest. Gently rolling onto your side. Taking a final moment of stillness here to reflect on your practice. On the grounding. On your connection to the earth. And how that supports you in maintaining your presence of mind. In your own time, come up onto your seat, bringing the palms together at heart center for Namaskar Mudra. Take a deep breath in through the nose and sigh it out. Breathing in to chant. Bowing the forehead towards the fingertips. Breathing in, send yourself love and gratitude. Breathing out, send love and gratitude to another being. Thank you so much for joining me.